Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hearthstone Major at PAX East, presented by One Nation of Gamers. My name is TJ. I'm joined by That's Admirable. We're pretty far into the day now. We're still in the round of 128. We saw an intense series between the Rat and Reynad, where the Rat came out on top. And now we're going to jump into SuperJJ versus Anthony. SuperJJ, of course, bringing Rogue. That's Admirable. Tell me what you know about this mysterious man called SuperJJ on Team Complexity.
Well, SuperJJ, I know, is a player that's very well known for his rogue play. But something that really interests me about SuperJJ is the fact that he is willing to make deck building choices that are so based around what he believes his opponents are going to bring. And you see that influenced in all sorts of his gameplay. I've heard him say things before like, Priest is a very good class if you know exactly what your opponent's going to bring. And has brought Priest in those situations to back up those claims. In a tournament like this, I don't expect him to be bringing Priest because he's got against such a wide open field. So what I would kind of expect from SuperJJ in this event is to kind of play his comfort picks, the classes that he knows he's playing best and that he can bring big, powerful plays against people, and not try to focus so much on actually targeting what's going on. Because when you're in the big open fields, there's a much larger variation of what you're going to be playing against than if you play in a 16-man tournament that's very stacked, and each person is like an expert at what they do. So him bringing this lineup, I mean, I know he has a ton of experience on all four of these classes, so not really a surprise to see him bring these to this event.
Yeah, and Anthony, on the other hand, he's bringing, once again, we're seeing players bring just strong decks. And Druid, Secret Paladin, Zoo Warlock, and some type of warrior. I'm just guessing here. We don't know for sure that these are his decks, but that seems to be a common theme. We should be jumping into the match momentarily as the players are selecting decks. But SuperJJ has had a pretty good start to 2016. We'll see if he can continue that sort of role moving forward. Be a great win here for him to at least place highly in this major. Curious to see, again, what type of decks coming out from Anthony. If he is changing it up a bit, maybe with Murloc Paladin, which we have seen one of today. Maybe bringing a slower version of Warlock. We haven't seen any Demon Handlock today. Could change that up, bring that as well.
Yeah, kind of touching on your his fantastic start in 2016. Actually, late in 2015 is kind of where things started for him, where he won Seat Story Cup and also won the Time to Win Invitational. And then moving into 2016, you're looking at second place in the Aces Republic of Gamers and a 10th anniversary tournament, as well as a top fourth Curse Trials, and also made top 16 at Insomnia 57. So off to a fantastic start for him. And I know he's been doing very well on ladder as well. We're putting a lot in the Hearthstone, and expect to see more of the same from him.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see. And the players are starting now. We should be jumping in the match in just a moment. Once again, we'd like to give a big shout out to GEICO, of course, the title sponsor for the event, as well as Video Game Voters Network, who have been on board for a large portion of the 2016 circuit. Big shout out to CyberPower PC, and of course, DX Racer, Razer, and the Aces Republic of Gamers for helping us supply some of the hardware for the major at PAX East. The One Nation of Gamers 2016 circuit is 70,000 total prize pool now that we've added on this 10K major over the course of the year. So lots of great things to happen even after this major, but we still have a full weekend of matches. And we are going to jump into the first one here. SuperJJ versus Anthony. Already on turn 3 here, and SuperJJ is roping out.
Yeah, did have a little bit of a spectator issue here, but SuperJJ, kind of a tough turn in front of him, honestly. It's like, Violet Teacher is one of those cards you'd love to save the coin with it, so that way you can get that little bit of extra value. But getting the 3/5 body on board just a little bit earlier is going to be an impact. And Anthony, meanwhile, turn 4 Emperor Thorson, it looks like from him, and he's got Dr. Boom, Black Knight, Druid of the Claw, Big Game Hunter, Savage Roar back behind. And JJ's hand full of ways to blow stuff up. But this one's going to require double deadly poison and attack. But that does give him a strong board presence. Anthony doesn't have swipe. And this is the kind of situations that Rogue often finds themselves in versus Druid. You take a little bit of damage, you snag some tempo, and then get repetitive damage out of the guys you get on board to make these big pushes later in the game.
Yeah, definitely. That's sort of the name of the game here. And Anthony does have some reasonable plays. So Black Knight's going to struggle to find some value. It's basically just going to be 5 mana 4/5 in this matchup. But Druid the Claw is going to stop some damage, but playing a Druid the Claw on taunt against a board that already has a presence from a rogue, it's not something that you want to do. And this SuperJJ just has all the options in the world. It can develop the Azure Drake, attack in and trade one of the 1/1s. Still preserve, not play too much into swipe.
Oh, even a preparation.
Ooh.
Keep that 5-point dagger handy. That's exactly what he's going to do. 5-point eviscerate, get 2 tokens, run over this Druid of the Claw, and start smashing in for damage. This was a great turn for SuperJJ.
He's got all the tempo in the world. And Dr. Boom can be pretty scary, but those boom bots are going to be not nullified, but definitely have a chance to just be duds if they hit one of these 1/1 teachers. And a Van
He's got 24 damage this turn.
Oh, he's at 24 health. So that's just going to be game.
Wait a minute.
Is it? Oh, no. Wait,
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. Did I count this wrong? 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. I think he was lethal this turn. I don't think it matters too much. I mean, he's just got a ton of damage and he has all the presence in the world on board.
Yeah. Would he have had room for lethal?
He plays the SI7 agent first. You go South Sea Decking SI7 agent eviscerate afterwards.
He had 5 or 6 minions on board with the 1/1.
Yeah, I've seen this happen from SuperJJ from time to time. He gets in kind of a groove and starts playing really quick, and just finds strong lines of play, and just follows through on them over and over again.
Yeah.
I'm always a big proponent of slowing down a little bit. But I don't think it's going to matter too much this game. I mean, he's just got so much card economy to work with.
Yeah.
And again, could have traded into 1/1 first. Maybe he didn't want to. Maybe he actually wanted the board space. Yeah, I guess this is actually better. You get more damage this way.
Yeah.
So, down to 2 for Anthony. There is no hope in this game for him to survive.
Yep, and that's going to throw out the well played, and regardless, pretty much most lines that SuperJJ would have taken would have done it. And he's going to Savage Roar into an Azure Drake, Honorable Sudoku, and SuperJJ takes game 1. Very strong start for him with the Coin Bala Teacher into just a string of incredibly powerful tempo plays. And Anthony really, despite having that turn 3 or turn 4 Emperor Thorsan, was never able to get his footing. And nice easy win for SuperJJ in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you see Bala Teacher hit the board too. It's why it's in these rogue decks. They make such good use of it. It is a major priority kill. Basically, kind of when you're facing any deck, but especially when you're facing rogue. And so if Druid can't answer that immediately or be able to play Emperor Thorsan into big follow-ups, they just fall out of the game.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, we're going to go into game number 2 here. Anthony once again throws out the Druid and SuperJJ playing the Patron Warrior. And this matchup is classically, players have tended to lean towards the Patron as far as favorability goes, but Druid just has decent win rates against even its least favorable matchups. So it's really close. Can't really count the Druid out. Patrons, what they're looking for is either early tempo or looking for lots of patrons very early on.
Yeah, pretty easy to do too sometimes when you have the right hand, but this hand is just kind of working on a little bit of a different margin. 2 Acolytes, Frolic Berserker, Shredder, Inner-Rage, Execute. Looks like Frolic Berserker's a play this turn. Just get something on board and start punching away. But I think there is an argument here for Acolyte as well. Just Acolyte and then have Inner-Rage to threaten a couple threats that are happening.
Yeah, you're a turn away from Keeper the Grove, so Acolyte of Pain could challenge. This does give away to Anthony that SuperJJ has multiple turn 3 plays, or he played the coin by accident.
Yeah, I'm curious what's going on with the play this turn.
Yeah.
Could this be a spectator issue? Nope, he's just really thinking about it. Yeah, goes with Frowling Berserker. Really tough turn from SuperJJ. But I'm kind of curious about that. I mean, I like the Frowling Berserker. I definitely would go with Frowling Berserker first.
Yeah.
Let the pain speak to me.
Interesting. All right, well, throws on the Accolade of Pain now. Decides not to use the Inner Rage, so this could get traded into or Wrath down. But in doing so, that would mean the Frowling Berserker would get buffed. So opts to hold on to that, hopefully being able to use that to in combination with Patrons later on. SuperJJ does have some pretty good turns coming up with both Paladin Shredders. So he's going to be pretty happy to see that Anthony is not really going to be developing too much this turn.
Yeah, just Wrath take out the Accolade of Pain. Deny as many card draws as you can, but SuperJJ's hand looks so strong versus this. I mean, just even interraging the Shade, I think, is a reasonable consideration right now.
Yeah, holding on to the Execute for something a bit larger, and being able to just protect your Paladin Shredder. You're going into turn 5 here, so what are you expecting? Probably a Druid of the Claw. So, Druid of the Claw, you can push through it. It would force an Execute out. But Anthony does not have a 5-drop, so he's going to have to Paladin Shredder, maybe in Living Roots for the 1/1s.
Yeah, this is going to be Paladin Shredder matching up again, and then Living Roots. So no real advantage, I'd say, to either player at the moment. Both of them kind of hunting for that one turn where they get a big swing.
Yeah, it looks like Anthony's a little bit closer. He's got Emperor Thor's Hand, which is a card that has to be answered going into the next turn. SuperJJ hasn't drawn into any of his pieces yet for making patrons no weapons so far yet either, so can't use weapons as a form of tempo. So yeah, I was thinking Paladin Shredder, but filling up the curve and also putting the Accolade on the board to try and cycle a little bit more, draw into those weapons, get closer to those patrons. This is sort of what he needs to do at this point.
Yeah. Chooses not to trade patrons. I'm sorry, not trade Shredders with Anthony here. Just letting his Acolyte bite the dust to this. Looks like he's hunting for a better Battle Rage turn with that attack on the Paladin Shredder. I mean, could have traded into Anthony's Paladin Shredder and tried to turn his board into a liability via that Acolyte of Pain. And Anthony's just going to take this opportunity to Savage Roar. Oh, Haunted Creeper responds. Yeah, it's a very interesting play.
Ooh.
Yeah, wanted to see what dropped from the Shredder before he decided to attack the Armorsmith there, I think.
Yeah, if it was something that had to be killed, even like a Whirling Zap-O-Matic or I don't know. The only thing that would punish him there with the sequence of attacks would be maybe a taunt. Unstable Ghoul would have been a really big punish.
Doomsayer.
But it was just Doomsayer, yeah. But Doomsayer, he would have just... Yeah, I guess Doomsayer, he would have gone face. So I do like that play. Making sure that he saw it first.
Yeah, Pilot Shredder, Unstable Ghoul for SuperJJ's.
The Black Knight!
The sickest value!
I'm waiting for the patch notes where if Black Knight has a target, he glows orange. Oh, I didn't realize that my opponent had a taunt.
Oh, he's actually got a Black Knight. This Unstable Ghoul. I mean, I guess where else are you going to get value from this card in this game? And then gets to trade a 4/1 Shredder up just a tad. Oh,
baby!
Oh, jeez!
Hello!
That is great news for SuperJJ.
Yes, it is. He doesn't really have anything to do this turn, but just resetting the board is definitely strong play. Strong play, getting a Doomsayer out of your own Paladin Shredder. Incredibly strong play.
Dr. Boom's going to hit the board. It's pretty much checked by what SuperJJ's got in hand. Second Execute pickup, no help. I think he needs these Boombots to hit base.
Yeah.
More than 5.
He can also just, if he wants to play very risky, he can just throw the Grim Patron out there. Hope one of those Boombots smacks the Patron up a little bit.
I don't really mind that play, honestly, because he doesn't have an activator for it right now. And if one of the Boombots hits the Patron and doesn't kill it, that's going to start turning things. And if that happens, Super JJ will win the game.
Yeah. Be a calculated risk. Maybe a little bit unlikely, though.
Execute's going to come in first.
Well, he knows that's happening, so he can make that play and evaluate further.
He's going for it. I like it. Here we go, boys.
It's a 1 and 3 to hit the patron, and then he also needs a 2. Oh!
He gets 7 points damage.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it also sort of protected his Frothing Berserker, but we see a couple of nice little keepers here that are probably going to take this sucker out.
Second keeper pickup could have been important here. Hey, how about just kill it with the Boombot? Oh, not quite. So Keeper and Lotheb are going to be the play this turn, it looks like.
Yeah. And now Super JJ's got to fight back. This is not a good hand. Patron cards by themselves are not great. You need to sort of combo them together in order to have any sort of effect. Battle Rage, especially with 7 armor, is just not going to do him much good at all.
I bet he needs to take his time on this one. Is Wrath or is Keeper better? I think the Keeper's better given what you just saw from Super JJ. I mean, the fact that he's so quickly grobbed into your 2/4, it kind of spells a lack of answers in hand. And so I think you're anticipating a hand almost exactly like he has right now. So the Emperor Thorson, not really extreme value right now. It's just a 5/5. And the fact that it's a 5/5 is actually doing some work here. So this is, I think, pretty likely to force Execute. He may just be able to take the damage, though, and save the Execute for a better time. But does he want to give it 2 Emperor activations? I don't think he does, so just going to go ahead and use that. And it looks like Dread Corsair. Dread Corsair is just going to die to what's on board, though, so maybe it's better being held at this point. Yeah, I think I like holding it.
And in a top-tick battle like this, Druid's almost always going to come out on top because their average are so much better.
Goodness.
Oh!
And it's why it's ticking down to 1 draw instead, because that is brutes.
Yeah. And he's even going to be able to cycle with a 1 mana Wild Growth. And this is spelling bad things for Super JJ.
Yeah, but I don't know if this one's recoverable anymore. I never found a good spot to get Battle Rage value. Didn't draw his weapons early on. The Grim Patron got picked off by the Boombot. You know, once it was going towards the Grim Patron, there was a 50% chance it propagated the Grim Patrons. Or
propagated!
or just killed it outright.
Yeah.
Maybe a glimmer of hope.
What's a lower measurement than a glimmer? A sparkle?
Glint?
A glint?
A spark?
A glint of hope?
Sparks can be really powerful. Glimmers aren't very powerful.
Yeah. A thud of hope?
A single piece of glitter gently reflecting the light of the setting sun of hope.
A stone of hope?
Only the most fantastic of analysis from me and TJ today.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, these players, it just seems like Super JJ has been pushed out of the game, but he's going to hope for a miracle draw. He's going to hope for that stone of hope to turn into a boulder of hope.
Dread Corsair's just the man to do it.
Yeah. Biding his time. I don't even know what he's hoping for at this stage. He's got to have... He needs multiple draws over multiple turns. And he also needs Anthony to just whiff on everything. But Druid's never going to whiff. And... So... He also has no executes left, so even if he manages to find activators for this patron, this singular patron that he has in his hand, he's not going to be able to fight back on the board enough to make these suckers stick. So he might as well, though, stay in the game, regroup, try and focus on, what deck am I going to throw out next? Let me just try and erase this game from my mind. There's a slam.
Go like Vanilla Sky here. Goes into the tank and he's like, This game led to like a wonderful opportunity for him somewhere down the road. JJ, open your eyes. Now he's in the 1-to-1 situation in real life, back from the think tank.
Yeah. Yep. So still has Patron Warrior, still has Mage left remaining. Anthony, guessing it's Secret Paladin and Zoo Warlock, but it could be anything. Could be anything. Could be Flood Paladin. Oh my goodness gracious! It's a Zoo Warlock.
A shocker. We haven't seen many of these today. It's going to be Freeze Mage for JJ, though. Again, not really a big surprise. I feel like he's just bringing his comfort decks. And that's exactly what we've seen from him so far. We've seen Rogue, we've seen Patron Warrior, we're seeing Freeze Mage. SuperJJ is going to play the decks that he has the most experience with and that he believes he will get an edge over the open field of this event. And I don't blame him for that. He's come this far. He's tied at one game apiece. And this is a fantastic matchup for him. I mean, Freeze Mage has done all kinds of hurt to Zoo for since the beginning of Hearthstone time.
Yeah. And Anthony's just going to go ahead and coin out the Nerubian Egg, which is pretty good against both Tempo and against Freeze, because against Freeze, it interrupts the sort of like turn 2 Tempo Doomsayer, which is not that popular against Zoo, because they have a lot of sticky minions anyway, and Frost Nova Doomsayer can be devastating if it's allowed to go off later in the game. But against Tempo, especially with both activators, it basically makes it so no matter what their turn 2 play is, whether it's Sorcerer's Apprentice or Mad Scientist, you have an answer to it. So it's a little bit weaker overall against Freeze, but still okay.
Yeah, Abusive Sergeant, not a bad option. 3 Abusive Sergeants in hand. 3 Abusive Sergeants!
How can there be 3 Abusive Sergeants in his deck if there's only 2 Abusive Sergeants in the world?
That's a good point. Second Novice Engineer. Looking for that Frost Nova, and there it is. Whew, that's a good draw.
Yeah.
Something you're always looking for post Nerubian Egg is for Frost Nova Doomsayer. It's like, that's how the deck operates on efficiencies. You grab that tempo back, you draw a bunch of cards, you've delayed their damage so much that they don't have time to kill you afterwards.
Yeah. So Anthony going through the motions here, he just pick up Mortal Coil from the Dark Peddler, so that's going to allow him to cycle. Key cards in this matchup that you're looking for, of course, Ironbeak Owl for the Doomsayer, and Lotheb, of course, to lock it out. But this is going to be a lot earlier of a Doomsayer than you're usually expecting. Once the Freeze Mage resets the board, Zoo Warlocks can refill, and he will have 2 1/1s from the Spider left over, so...
That hand is looking really bad right now, though.
You can even Mortal Coil your own Dark Peddler, yeah. This is going to allow you to cycle a little bit more. You might as well utilize the mana now while you have extra. It's dying anyway, so you might as well cycle it out.
JJ doesn't really pick up anything to draw cards with, though. So he's going to have plenty of time here, and he's got 6, 10, he's got 14, he's got 24 points of damage in hand. So actually, if he gets to turn 10, and he doesn't sit under Lotheb, he can win the game.
I like starting to ping face there. Especially if he's playing the Torch version, because a lot of times you can just close out the game with damage. And that 1/1's not presenting that much damage. It's presenting what? Even if you leave it up for 4 turns in a row, it's presenting 4 damage. And you're not likely, but you're looking for board clears. Like, you're not going to pick off 1/1 at a time. I mean, I guess it would have been punished by Defender of Argus.
That changes things.
Oh, baby.
SuperJJ just got some calculating to do now. So before, what it was looking like is his game plan might just be hope to draw an AoE spell, throw burn at my opponent's face, and then Pyroblast him on turn 10 when I live, which still might be the plan. But with that Alexstrasza draw, he can give himself so much more time by clearing the board right now. So that's the plan he's going to go for here. He's looking at Alexstrasza into launch some burn, into launch more burn, and hope that he can live for that long.
Might need to pick a nice lock, though.
Yeah. This is looking kind of tough, especially with the Nerubian Egg down now. The AoE looks a little bit weaker. And the Knife Juggler is just representing so much damage.
SuperJJ is still healthy, though. He still is at 28. There's
That's
an
a welcome draw.
Intellect. Nice pickup. Into a Blizzard. Can't use it this turn. But Blizzard plus Doomsayer next turn. But then the Nerubian Egg does present a problem.
Yeah, I think Frostbolt and Ping here is fine too. Just Frostbolt the Knife Juggler, and then your follow-up for Alexstrasza. Obviously, you have to get the Pyroblast off. So then once you Pyroblast, if you live the turn afterwards, you just double Ice Lance face and ping.
I wonder.
Can you hope to survive that long? Do you need to play around Lothep? Do you need to play around, burst from hand? There's so many things that you have to factor in. But sometimes you have to just not overthink it and just stick to a game plan because his hand is not that big. There's not that many options. You can try to play the long game and set up for a Blizzard next turn instead of setting up for an Alexstrasza next turn. But that seems a little bit too safe. So Frostbolt, paying off as much damage as possible, set up for the best board possible for you to play Alexstrasza next turn, and go from there.
Yeah, I like the Doomsayer. I mean, again, it's just absorbing damage as well. I mean, this has to be checked in some way. So I think it's the intent here. Just buy time. Oh, there's Lotheb.
But JJ would be happy to see that this turn, because then it makes his play real easy.
Yeah, I think it's a lot less about whether or not Lotheb is good this turn, and whether or not, and more so what Lotheb represents, like say post Alexstrasza.
Yeah. And
It's a lot of damage from 2 Knife Jugglers.
yeah, and Anthony's gonna be
Put this apple on your head.
pretty heads up here, not play the Lotheb. That'd be the end of his his game.
I'm actually not sure he can play another minion this turn either. I mean, if you get Frost Nova on a full board, oh, it's gonna look ugly.
He needs to keep room for the Lotheb. Regardless. And that's exactly what he does.
Yeah, with that torch draw, I wonder if JJ's actually has the damage just to push here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. If he gets Lotheb, that could lock him out, though. Whew, this is dangerous.
I wonder.
Yeah, I think that Lotheb might actually tilted this game in Anthony's favor by quite a margin.
In a matchup that usually comes down to the Freeze Mage winning one turn before they die, Lotheb buying an extra turn for the player on the other end is usually all that it takes to swing the game. So we'll see. Alexstrasza is effectively using your entire turn to deal 6 damage. You're putting 8 in on the board, but the 8/8s usually aren't that effective when you have to go through taunts and you don't really know what's sitting on the other end. You have a lot more control over the spells that you're using. Ooh, it looks like he's going to go for a Blizzard.
Yeah, I don't mind the Blizzard here. I mean, you're definitely shutting off a lot of damage with this.
Yeah.
2 pings in face, but no way to avoid that. Oh, Leroy Jenkins comes in hand.
That could be a big finisher. Especially since SuperJJ has not drawn into an ice block yet.
Yeah, this is Lotheb for sure.
Yeah.
Still missing a couple points of damage is Anthony, though. I mean, you guys have Gormok in hand, so if JJ didn't kill anything, he would have the damage for this. Oh, he's going to play Flame Imp. Flame Imp, I don't know if Flame Imp's better than the Imp King boss. I guess the Imp King boss could fill up your board. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17. He'd be 1 damage off lethal if he gets the Flame Imp, Gormok, and Leroy Jenkins next turn if SuperJJ pings the 2-1.
But that's if JJ spends his entire turn pinging.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think he played the Flame Imp. Flame Imp also, though... Oh, man, this is so tough. There's an ice block.
He still needs time, though.
Well, he can ice block and ping. So I think that's the play. I mean, that's really the only play you can make. You can Ice Lance and ping. If you think you can buy an extra turn for Ice Block. Like, you can Ice Lance the... But that gives up burn. Oh, wow. No, you can Ice Lance the Lotheb, ping off the 2-1. You're leaving only 8 damage on board. Next turn, you can just start throwing spells at the face. Frostbolt, Ice Lance, ping your opponent's face, and play the Ice Block. and then you set yourself up for a power blast the next turn.
Yeah, so the risk of dying is the only thing that comes in that. If your opponent has 8 damage on board and you're at 24, they need 16 from hand. They need Leroy, power overwhelming, and then an extra 2 points of damage from hand on top of that. So I definitely think this is the right play in that regard. I mean, there's just no way 16 damage is coming out of Anthony's hand, given how the game's panned out so far, I don't think.
And this is the only turn that you're vulnerable.
Yeah, this was a very good play from SuperJJ.
There's that slight moment of panic when you see that targeting arrow hover over your face, where you're like, "Oh God!"
He just throws 2 dark bombs at you, and you're like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah. And you know your opponent's been holding on to 4 cards for a long time. Both those implosions, both those in-game bosses. So, just ice block, throw spells at the face, and call it a day.
Set that pyro. And unless there's Keys and Mystic in Anthony's hand or a second like Brewmaster Lothab or something just crazy in his deck.
Yeah. And he's just going to put him as low as possible, I suppose. Might as well. If somehow he finds another Lothab. Oh, wow, just going to fill up his board. That's smart.
Oh, that's actually a really smart play from SuperJJ, because now he actually can't lose to Keys and Mystic unless Anthony can also blow up one of his minions and have Keys and Mystic.
Yeah. Which is very unlikely for both of those things to happen.
SuperJJ's just been playing so well this game.
I wonder.
Yeah, and that is going to do it. There's no way that Anthony can piece together a victory. Could pop the block at 1, but he should know that he's dead, especially since he saw a fireball go towards his haunted creeper.
Yeah, implosion zone guy. Give himself some room, but it is not enough. Pyro Blast from SuperJJ, 2-1 lead for him. 1 more game to go.
Indeed. And that's going to be with Patron Warrior. So we'll see if he can find a win. He's going to be going up against a Zoo Warlock. And I believe the last deck was Paladin. So 2 matchups, if it is Secret Paladin, that are very winnable for a Patron Warrior, especially the Zoo Warlock.
Yeah, I mean, Zoo is going to come down to whether or not Anthony just has like an incredible start versus a lackluster start from SuperJJ most of the time. And for the Paladin, if it is Secret Paladin, we saw that matchup earlier. It is really tough for Secret Paladin to win. They just all of Patron's answers kind of line up so perfectly versus it that unless you just have absolutely insane draws, it is so hard to recover from them just disrupting your board position.
Yeah. I'd say so. And no weapon so far for SuperJJ, so that's sort of the key. Oh! Hello. That just changes things slightly. The Despite, one of the most powerful cards in this matchup. One of the most powerful cards in the class. One of the most powerful cards in the game.
That's a good discover, too.
Yeah.
Just 2 cards you normally play in your deck. Thanks, Dark Peddler.
Shout out to Corruption, though.
What a fantastic card that one is.
Put this apple on your head.
And Handsome Meccano finds its way into Anthony's hand, too. Not really too big of a surprise to see, given the Leroy has been in his build. I know the Leroy version has fallen out of favor with a couple of players at this point. But in Handsome Meccano, Chalky ran this in the top 8 of North American Championships. And this is a build that kind of originated in China and has really done some work since. That card is terrifying on certain board states. This even might be one of those board states. Like, it might just be totally fine to drop the Handsome Meccano here. Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And gets a Divine Shield and Taunt. Not quite the positions I think he wanted them in, but
hoping for the
well.
double. Yeah, hoping for the double Divine Shield is what he was hoping for. But still, this adds a lot of pressure onto the board. Even just that 3/2, the Divine Shield from the Flame, it makes things really tough. So he wants to hold on to that Despite, but doesn't really have an opportunity to.
Yeah, I'm curious if Patron is actually your best play here. I mean, everything looks so rough. Like, this is the kind of start that Anthony needed, where he just went drop into drop into drop into another drop. And it's kind of just what he's had. SuperJJ is just playing Armor Smiths to try to absorb some damage and hope for the best in the meantime.
Yeah. Make sure they're at full health.
Oh gosh. Oh, that is a huge draw for Anthony. Oh my goodness. I don't think there was a better draw in his deck, TJ. That was perfect for this turn.
Yeah, lines up nicely. Able to take out both of these Armor Smiths. And now it's going to be hard for SuperJJ to fight back on the board. And I think Anthony's just going to hold on to the Abusive Sergeant so that if a Whirlwind comes out, he still has a better Sea Giant turn, potentially. And SuperJJ can start removing this board. He can Whirlwind, and he can fire War Axe and armor up, but he's not developing anything. And that's another activator for Grim Patrons gone. He would have used a Despite, he'll have used a Whirlwind. And then his turns for the next couple, or his plays for the next couple of turns, aren't looking good. He'll be left with a Battle Rage, a Paladin Shredder, and a Grim Patron in hand. Which is not what he wants to see.
Yeah. I mean, except the Fiery War Axe, it's just... If he had one more mana to play the Piloted Shredder, this would look okay. But instead, he's in a situation where he's forced to take 6 points of damage here, potentially more if Anthony has the right hand, and then hope that 2 Grim Patrons is going to be enough off the draw. This is going to be so hard. I don't know. He doesn't feel like he can take the 4 damage, and frankly, I'm not sure he can either. Like, eating an extra 4 here is a very big deal.
Yeah. Dark Peddler potentially finding some extra burst. Does find a Reliquary Seeker, but not really any burst. Young Dragonhawk with an Abusive Sergeant in hand. I don't know.
I think the Abusive Sergeant's getting played this turn. That's just me. Cogmaster does get activated by Enhanso Mechano if he's got a second copy.
Yeah. Reliquary Seeker. Doesn't seem like that sucker's ever going to get more than a 1/1, but it's possible.
Just going to go with Haunted Creeper this turn.
Really would have liked to see the young Dragonhawk. Really would have liked to see it.
Everyone works for TJ, including the players. Pilot Shutter Armor up, 15. Still lack of action, SuperJJ's hand. He has really not been able to put together much this game. And that means this is a Sea Giant turn. And there is no answer in SuperJJ's hand for the Sea Giant at the moment.
Yeah.
Get in there and fight, maggot.
This is brutes.
This could be a Gormog turn.
Yeah, I could even Gormog the 3/2. That's totally fine as well. I think I'd like to see the Sea Giant more and just trade in the 2/2 afterwards. Like, the difference between an 8/8 body and a 4/4 body is pretty massive.
Yeah. One dies a Despite, the other doesn't die to Despite, which is a pretty big distinction between 2 cards if you had to make one. And SuperJ is going to dig with the slam here, but he needs exactly Execute if he wants to find any way to come back in here.
Just roadblock with the Sludge Belcher and hope for the best, but this is going to be a second Sea Giant for,
That's
my. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Barely off.
Yeah. But still, these are some fantastic trades that are going to happen here. And
Could have hit a second Power Overwhelming with this one. I mean, he's just got all the options in the world.
yeah,
He's not going to go with second Sea Giant. Wants to save the Power Overwhelming instead. 8 crashes in. I don't think SuperJJ can win this game.
even if he finds an Execute, he still, I don't think he could find a way. You might as well just play the Reliquary Seeker. I don't think you're ever going to find an opportunity to play it after this, but double Battle Rage for 1 in the hand, and SuperJJ, there's nothing that he's going to find that's going to keep him in the game. And he's going to force to tap out, and we're going to another game number 5, the second one in a row, back-to-back full-length series.
Yeah, SuperJJ has been having a couple of rough hands in some of these games, especially with the Patron Warrior so far. I mean, he just has not had kind of the hands that we saw earlier, like from Firebat, where he just had turn 5, make 4 patrons go. And Another game where makes a bunch of patrons from, his opponent made 6 patrons on one of those turns. It's going to be Secret Paladin versus Patron Warrior. And that opening hand from Anthony. True Silver Champion's very good. This matchup does help answer a lot of these early game threats. SuperJJ, once again, a little bit light on anything to really do. He does have Unstable Goal into Falling Berserker, but it's Whirlwind and Execute back behind. Looking for Acolyte of Pain, Despite, Grim Patron. I think Acolyte would probably be his best draw at this point.
Yeah, I'd say so. Shielded Minibot. A welcome sight for Anthony to pick up on that turn. And wow. Oh, man.
It's a pretty gosh darn good one. This hand went from pretty mediocre to pretty darn insane for SuperJJ. Looking like Coin Keeper of Uldamon is a good one here.
Yeah. Muster for Battle would be a great pickup in a normal circumstance on turn 3, but doesn't do him much good this turn, so I do agree with you. Still a hold onto a curve. Lotheb is not going to have Chord Mysterious Challenger, but still has a turn 5 play with Lotheb, and a turn 4 play with either True Silver Champion or even Muster for Battle if there's nothing to kill.
Yeah, CLGG plays this one. Wonder if there's ever an argument for Whirlwind, Execute, and then attack for 12.
A lot of merit to that one.
I don't think I like that one very much. But that's what my brain saw first. So we'll go with Despite. We know that one's a lot better.
Yeah.
And not trading only gets punished, I think, by Coghammer or maybe Blessing of Kings in this spot. Looks like he's going to trade. Isn't too concerned with damage. If SuperJJ keeps control over the board, his hand is looking so fantastic to handle what gets thrown at him.
Wow. I mean, but he missed 12 damage that turn. So
he did miss 12 damage.
So a little bit unfortunate for Anthony to find himself, or for SuperJJ to find himself in a spot where he's 12 more health away from killing his opponent, but does hold on to some more resources. Still has to hold on to these patrons for an extra turn if he wants to get a little bit more value out of them. That's exactly what he's going to do. But Lotheb's going to put a wrench in that plan as well. And there's also a True Silver Champion that has to be taken into account.
Yeah, this is looking like turn 7 is where the Grim Patron's going to line up, coupled with Whirlwind and Execute on that turn. But by that point, Anthony's going to have so much development. And like, if he plays the Lotheb this turn, he is shutting off the Grim Patron play for this one. And if he follows up with a Mysterious Challenger afterwards, that's a lot of pressure he's going to have.
Yeah, that is. Well, he's opting to play the Secret Keeper and the Blessing of Kings over the Lotheb. So that's a bit interesting. It lines up perfectly into the Deathspite swing plus the Whirlwind. I think you have to sort of be expecting patrons going into that turn.
Well, Anthony clearly was not expecting patrons going in that turn. And now he loses Secret Keeper, 4 patrons get summoned. And I'm not really sure he has a way to completely shut this off. Even if he Lotheb here and attacks, SuperJJ can just simply propagate his Grim Patrons and keep going afterwards.
Just propagate him. Ugh.
What is that noise?
Propagate me, Captain.
Ugh.
He does only spawn 2 patrons, so he doesn't have a way to deal with this Lotheb. So there's a chance that these patrons are going to go away. So maybe Anthony had this all planned out. Maybe he wanted the patrons to come out. Maybe this is all planned. Maybe this whole game is scripted.
Maybe it's pre-recorded. I don't think there's a chance. I'm putting a show in my head right now, guys. Don't worry. I think there's a chance that SuperJJ doesn't Whirlwind this turn, but I certainly think it's a lot better. Like, if he trades in a Grim Patron, goes to the Whirlwind, trades in the 3-1, he has a 3-2 and 2 3-3s with an Execute and a Battle Rage in his hand. What play looks better than that to you? Yeah. Even if he doesn't trade, it still looks better to me.
Yeah.
2-3-3 is a 3-2 or 3-1. Like, he loses 2 3-3s, but
There's pretty much no other play.
yeah,
And
I mean, gets to battle rage for 3 next turn. This is incredible for him.
yeah, and Anthony is going to be able to play the Mysterious Challenge now, so SuperJJ has to deal with it, and he's running out of activators. He has Inner Rages left in his deck. He does have a Death Spite left in his deck. But none of these patrons are going to survive a battle with a Noble Sacrifice. So there's second Execute.
Oh my.
Pool.
That is such a good draw.
Yeah.
Just anything to buy time and continue to propagate your Grim Patrons.
Yep. Do you want to answer the Mysterious Challenge this turn?
I don't know if you can effectively. I mean, if he chooses to answer,
patron, yeah.
Yeah, which that defeats the purpose of the unstable goal. Something that we haven't noted, by the way, there's a Nerubian egg in Anthony's hand.
Yeah, it's an egg Secret Paladin, it appears. We did see a dragon egg in the mulligan, too. Did we?
I don't
Or
remember seeing
am I thinking of a dark peddler? It was golden. I don't know. I've seen a lot of one-drops this match.
I don't recall if it was a golden dark peddler from the game before, or a dragon egg on this turn. You're getting old, TJ.
I think it was a dragon egg. I'm 60% sure. Ooh, so
There's just no option here for Anthony. This just looks so brutal.
yeah. SuperJJ's put himself in a great spot. And Nerubian Egg does absolutely nothing. I believe they refer to that in the industry as jack squat.
Let me think.
So he can attack in here, play Muster for Battle.
No, we can't play Muster for Battle. There's a 3-3 patron.
I don't think you have a choice.
Oh my. Well, we're going for it, boys.
You have 2 Muster for Battles. What are you going to do? Play Egg and then pass? You got to start fighting back on the board somehow. There's no more Whirlwind effects left, but he can trade in. I mean, you still have a Noble Sacrifice, so...
Yeah, that's a good point.
Just start chipping in, I suppose. Chipping in for 11.
Any merit to the Armor Smith first here.
Well, let's play down his play. He's definitely going to execute this turn. Is he going to Grom, is the thing. Is he going to Grom whatever gets avenged?
I mean, that looks like it's his, if he's
It's a
attacking
1/1.
first, I think it's his plan is to Grom and execute.
Yeah.
So the
and then
redemption's
just
going to hit
face.
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is fine. I mean, he does have over 10 incoming damage from the Frothing Berserker this turn. Ooh, that's kind of a rough one.
You could still Grom. You can Grom a 1/1, or Grom the 2/1.
And there's the execute.
Because if you Grom the 2/1 and you attack face for 11, you're basically
this
saying,
is-
well, you have to deal with everything.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, and that probably just going to lock it up. I mean, maybe a Sludge Belcher is the only thing that'll keep the game going for an extra turn. But even then, that might not be enough if SuperJJ were to...
Well, I don't know. That Noble Sacrifice does isolate. He can't isolate the Grom now.
No.
Yes, he can isolate the Grom. Takes out
yeah,
the
Blessing. Yeah, Blessing of Kings, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking just from the board alone. No, he can't.
he can't do
Sorry,
it.
sorry, man.
It's not happening.
Yeah. He can, in fact, isolate the Grom. What a
He can
call.
also isolate the Frothing Berserker too if he wanted to.
Yeah.
So is going to isolate Grom. It looks like.
Yeah, he could even isolate the Grim
I wonder
Patron.
if actually isolating the Patron's better because he knows the Whirlwind effects are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like isolating the Grom. Trade into it turn after.
Move quickly.
Yeah.
Wait, how did he do that? I
Hell,
thought he couldn't do that.
He can't. It's against the rules. No, we can't. Yeah, he can. Oh, man. Well, this is still looking grim for Anthony, but at least he got rid of the propagation train, isolated the Grom Hell screen. Can Anthony start fighting back against these minions? I mean, maybe it's even just, yeah, he just play the... Ooh, okay. I was going to say, if he does this, he doesn't have enough mana, but he does have enough mana for execute, so they should just lock up the game. I don't know if Anthony can draw anything that's going to help him come out of this one.
Tyrion? Keeper of Voldemort, attack the pilot shredder into Doomsayer?
Or a one-attack minion.
Kills off Grom. I think it's too little at this point. Like, honestly, I think Doomsayer might just be the way to win. Which it's very rare that I will ever reference that as being his only chance, but I think that's his only chance. Like, even if he gets to a point where he only takes 2 damage this turn, I think has a less chance to win in that situation than he does the other way around. Looks like he's going to go for keeping the board clean, though. Yeah, doesn't quite get there.
Yeah, there was a Paladin Shredder Doomsayer in this series that SuperJJ had, but Anthony is going to fall, and that means SuperJJ takes the series 3-2, moves on to the round of 64. Stays live in the tournament. Means Anthony, unfortunately, has been eliminated.
Yeah, very well played series from Anthony. A couple spots I think he could have tightened up his play just a little bit, maybe been a little bit more aggressive with some stuff. But for the most part, very excellently played. And SuperJJ brings his comfort decks, performs very well. It's kind of exactly what you would expect from him in an open tournament like this one.
Yeah, I would say so. And so we'll be seeing more of SuperJJ tomorrow when we commence with the round of 64. Next up is going to be Amaz versus Sam Stock. So another high-profile player. Amaz, who's going to be going up against Sam Stock, who we don't know much about. But once again, guys, still doing the CyberPower Gamer Extreme 1000 PC giveaway. Click the banner below or head over to the website, geico.onog.gg. Also, the next open tournament for the One Nation of Gamers 2016 circuit happens on April 30th. So right on that same website is some links to sign up for that open tournament if you want to get involved, have a chance to win a $1,000 prize will not open, and $70,000 we given away over the course of the 2016 ONOG circuit. So head over there during the break. But we'll be back in a few minutes. Amaz versus Sam Stock. Don't go anywhere, guys. More Hearthstone major action by One Nation Gamers right after this.